I can see the future coming to you. Cry away the sadness in your eyes, and I can find a faith in days I've wasted. Been around enough to feel
Ready? Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Portage Northern High School graduation for the class of 2020. So excited to have you here tonight. We are experiencing some delays in getting traffic in, so we are going to hold the ceremony start time to allow every class member to get in. So it may delay us a few minutes, but we're trying to move the cars in as fast as we can. But bear with us, we will be delaying it just a few minutes to try and get every graduate into the parking spaces. So thank you for your patience. welcome to graduation for the class of 2020. If everybody would at this time, please be in your vehicle. We have the last car coming in, and the graduates are here, and we will start in about 3 minutes. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening and finally welcome to the graduation for the Portage Northern class of 2020. Okay, you beat me to it. Now that we have the car horn honking out of the way, we're going to call that good for the night, please, and thank you. Thank you all for driving up here. I think every speaker tonight may feel like they're in a little bit of a Pixar film. I've never given speeches in front of 300 cars. So it's like a dream cruise or something, I'm not sure. But in all seriousness, as long as everyone, again, stays away from all their horns for the rest of the night so we can hear all the speeches and everybody's name being read, everything will be wonderful. Everybody will be entering the stage up here as they graduate and cross the stage down here. And we'll have a magnificent evening, I hope. And while it may be less than stellar view from where you are, we have the Jumbotron, we have YouTube 93.5, and your car will also be playing the graduation. So you have lots of different ways to see this. We also have a camera woman up front to take pictures of your graduate, and you will have access to all of those pictures after the ceremony. So we've got you covered. We know how important this evening is to you. You've all worked hard, Huskies, and your families have worked hard to support you and literally drive you to the last shot to be here. So let's get this amazing night started with our national anthem, understanding that the Kalamazoo Health Department requires us to stay in our cars, windows 6 feet apart. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Dixon, for starting us off tonight. And really excited about tonight's events, festivities. And we're very fortunate to have a very special presentation tonight in honor of the class of 2020 as a presentation for a donation to Portage Northern High School in your honor. So I'd like to read a little bit of an introduction on this special presentation tonight, and something that I think will be changing the face of Husky Stadium for years to come. I want to start by reading this introduction and information. It all started in January 1925 when doctors in Nome began to see symptoms of a deadly infection, diphtheria. Anchorage, Alaska, more than 500 miles away, was the closest place with supplies of life-saving serum, and Alaska's brutal winters, where temperatures could plunge to 50 below and snow and ice are measured in yards, made travel impossible. Planes could not fly, and the sole path through the wilderness was a 650-mile freight route. It was the Iditarod Trail, which connected Nome to the railroad station in Nenana. By dog sled, the trip usually took about a month, too slow to head off an epidemic that could kill thousands. A relay was the only hope. 20 mushers volunteered for what would become known as the Great Race of Mercy. One, Leonard Sapala, had some of the best dogs around. They were called Huskies. They were all imported from Siberia. Sapala chose his most experienced dog, a 12-year-old dog named Togo, as his leader. Another musher, Gaynor, put his faith in a green youngster, 3-year-old Balto. The serum arrived in Nenana on January 27th and was whisked onto the first sled, then passed from one another for legs of about 24 to 52 miles, until it reached the last team led by Balto and Gaynor. Despite his inexperience, Balto lived up to the challenge. Even when winds lifted the sled and all the dogs high into the air, he stayed the course. He and Kaysen charged into Nome just before dawn on February 2nd. It had taken an unimaginably swift 127 and a half hours, about 5 days, to deliver the precious cargo. Everyone knew that many hearts, hands, and paws had contributed to this life-saving effort, and that Togo had actually taken the longest and most perilous route. But Balto the dog, who led the final sprint, became the symbol of it all, of teamwork, courage, tenacity, and hope, when there seemed to be no reason for it. Balto died in 1933 at the age of 14, but the dog and what he stands for are remembered to this day. Thousands of children actually visit him in New York City's Central Park, where there is a bronze statue in his honor, or at the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, where a special exhibit tells his story. Every March, sled dog teams come from all over the world to participate in the Iditarod, a race that follows the Serum Run route. During this pandemic, with COVID-19 changing our lives forever, we are again on a race for a vaccine, and due to the generosity of PNP Compass and Grad Bash, we are here to unveil as a gift to Portage Northern High School a bronze statue of Balto to be mounted inside the entry to Husky Stadium, with 2 benches that are here in front of me on either side for our visitors to view and utilize. This donation is in honor of the class of 2020 and will forever remain a part of Husky Stadium. Let's hear a round of applause. Thank you, PNP Grad Bash Committee, Ms. Rita McKenzie, Mrs. Nancy Main, for their work to make this possible. Again, what an amazing gift in honor of the class of 2020, and there couldn't be a more fitting symbol of our work here today as we battle COVID-19 and our pandemic. At this time, I would like to move to our faculty speaker, and I'd like to introduce Dr. Amanda Thorpe up to give us the staff presentation. Thank you.
Congratulations, class of 2020. You made it. Those of you who know me well know that I have basically 3 emotions: happy, caring, and why are you talking while I'm talking? That said, I broke character and cried twice during our time apart. Once, in the beginning, and perhaps like many of you, when I finally let the weight of what all of this meant finally hit me. And then again, when Mrs. Dixon asked me to be your speaker today. I can think of no greater honor than being asked to speak to you now, this year of all years. Thank you for this tremendous privilege. I'm guessing that this is not the graduation ceremony that you envisioned for yourself when you started school last fall, unless perhaps, like myself, you've read too many dystopian novels. We're all here today, like this, because there is, something contagious that we are avoiding. But what if something being contagious isn't bad? What if I asked you, class of 2020, what do you have that's worth catching? While the answer to that question is deeply personal, after spending 4 years with you, some of the responses are obvious. One of my favorite things about your class is that you have an amazing sense of humor. One of my favorite memories was from freshman year honors English. We had just finished Life of Pi, the first novel of the year, and I won't spoil the ending for those of you who haven't read it, but it's unexpected to say the least. We finished the novel in class, and I was focusing my attention on the discussion that was happening on the left side of the room. I turned to the right side of the classroom just in time to see one of your classmates, Hunter, nonchalantly stepping on top of his desk to fake hang himself from the ceiling in shock and disappointment at the way the novel had ended. I knew then that I was in for a ride, and I wasn't wrong. Your class would go on to see the beginning of a 4-year feud between Alex Walker and myself, where he discovered that I scared easily and hid first behind my door, then inside my classroom closet, then under my desk, and finally, senior year, literally serpentine crawled across the floor all the way across the room after school to sneak up on me. I'm sure he thought he got the last laugh, and maybe he did, for now. These two stories don't even begin to tell how fun and special your class is. We live in a world that is increasingly forgetting how to take itself lightly, and there have been so many times, tonight included, when I've been so glad that your smiles, your laughter, and your jokes are all contagious. We need this side of you now more than ever. I have also been so impressed by your capacity to persevere and finish what you start. This spring, one important senior milestone after another vanished, but your hope, your strength, and your determination did not. When emergency learning started and the announcement was made that seniors were done, the first email I got was from a member of your class. I know seniors are technically done, it read, but do we have to be? If we want to keep going, can we? And you did. You worked diligently to get failing grades up to passing. You turned in missing work even if you didn't need to. You finished your IB classes, finding new and innovative ways to take your final assessments. After you finished your own responsibilities, you turned your attention to others. Senior Interact Club members saw their last 2 for Tulini through in July, and the seniors on the Northern Light staff worked all summer to bring you the senior edition that's in your packets tonight. This spirit, this seeing things through to the end, is something the world could use a lot more of, and I'm so glad that we're going to get it from you. I could go on for much longer than I have time for tonight. You are amazing. You are witty, brilliant, and compassionate. You are captivating and capable and committed, and we have been so fortunate to share this building with you for the last 4 years. I know how I would answer for you the question of, what do you have that's worth catching? But the real question is how you will answer this 5, 10, 20, 40 years from now. My sincere hope is that you will always be able to give an answer that you're proud of, and I know that you all have within you already everything that you need to be able to do that. Don't just live courageously, Huskies. Live contagiously. Thank you.
A couple of weeks ago, I was asked what my definition of success is. I said that to me, success is leaving a place better than when you found it. And when I think back on our 3.5 years of high school, I ask myself 2 things. Is Portage Northern a better place now than it was 4 years ago? And am I a better person than I was 4 years ago? And to me, the answers to these 2 questions are what makes the abrupt ending to our senior year so sad. First of all, when I think back to myself as a freshman, I can't even imagine how much I've changed. I mean, I can't even imagine how much I've changed since the beginning of my junior year. And the reason that makes the end of this year so tough is because it wasn't the classes, the curriculum, the grades, the tests, any of that made me the person I am now. It's the relationships with my classmates, friends, teachers, coaches, and teammates. The relationships I made with all of you. So to have these relationships ended so suddenly, to think that after today, there's many of you that I may never really see again, it's sad, it's frustrating, it's unfair, but it's not the main reason I'm upset about the ending to our senior year. When I think back to the impact our class had on PN, so much comes to mind. We were the students who experienced the first football game in our brand new Husky Stadium. The soccer players who played the first game on Husky Field. The actors who brought us to the world of Monty Python. The performers who impressed us at the collage. The athletes who won the first baseball state championship and first football district championships in school history. The journalists who won the first Spartan Award in school history. The students who worked so hard in class, and the people who made each day at PN so fun and special. I feel like we've had an overwhelmingly positive impact on Portage Northern. And to think that now we will be known as the class of COVID-19, that makes me sad. And I always knew that I would be sad about the ending to my senior year. Sad that there were so many great people, so many friends and classmates that aren't going to be a big part of my life anymore. And the only thing that makes me sadder than this is to think that these very people who are so special to me may be remembered here by the tragedy of the last few months instead of the great things we accomplished these past 4 years. I even remember a conversation I had on what I still can't believe was my last day at PN, that we are a part of history, that we're going to tell our grandkids about how the world went on pause during the COVID-19 pandemic. But the more I think about that, the more angry that idea makes me. When I tell my grandkids about high school, I am not going to tell them about how I was stuck at home for a couple of months. I'm not going to tell them about the memories I missed out on, about how I didn't go to senior prom, about how I didn't have a senior season of baseball, about how I celebrated my graduation 6 feet apart from all my friends and teachers who have made me into the person I am today. That's not how I'm going to remember my time at PN, and I really hope that's not how PN remembers us. And if any of you ever run out of stories to tell your grandkids, you can always tell them how you went to high school with Malcom Gaynor. Thank you.
Class of 2020, we made it. Now, I know they say this every year, but I feel like it means a little bit more to us. I mean, we have definitely had to work a little bit harder and wait a little bit more anxiously than classes before us to be able to drive in here and witness this moment, even if it isn't how we might have imagined it would be. Now, when I was in elementary school, I, like most of my classmates, had no idea what year I would graduate in. Because, I mean, that was so far in the future. And I didn't really fully understand it. But once I got to middle school and I figured out what those numbers on the blue edge of my middle school ID meant, I thought that I was the coolest kid in the world. I mean, I was going to be graduating in the class of 2020. That year alone sounds pretty awesome. Along with the sweet-sounding repetition of the year, 2020 has this connotation of perfection. And being the perfectionist that I am, I wanted everything about my high school career, especially my senior year, to be perfect. But life gets messy. Turns out that's what makes it fun. Looking back at the class of 2020's high school career, the things that I think we'll remember the most, the things that will make us smile the biggest, are the imperfections.
I don't think that we'll remember our grades in math class. We'll remember the little unexpected moments. We'll remember dancing to the fight song at pep assemblies and football games. We'll remember raiding Portage Central's field after winning a big game. We'll remember sprinting into the building every day after lunch, trying not to be late. We'll remember singing along to Disney music in the IB Chem lab. We'll remember dancing with Mr. Neal on Fridays, making TikToks in Mr. Searing's room, falling up the stairs a few too many times, eating lunch with Mr. Andrews. We'll remember the little moments, because these little moments in life are truly what add up to make it the most enjoyable. Nobody here had a perfect high school career, but with the help of our friends and with the help of our teachers, we made it our own. We took the imperfections that life threw at us and turned them into a chance to grow, learn, laugh, love, and connect. So as we go into this next chapter of our life, remember to let yourself be imperfect. Take a chance, be brave, be yourself. Make the most out of every single second that you have, because as we all learned over quarantine, there are a whole lot of seconds in a single day. We are the future. The next steps are ours to take. So go. Take chances. Don't be afraid to mess up. Make mistakes and show the world the imperfections that make Portage Northern's class of 2020 perfect. Thank you.
Good evening, graduates, families, faculty, and staff. On behalf of our community and the Board of Education, congratulations to the Portage Northern High School class of 2020. You should be so proud of yourselves for working through one of the most difficult times in our history to meet the requirements for graduation from one of the best high schools in the state of Michigan. We all hope your dreams come true as you begin to take the next steps in your lives. And for all of you to remember, go you Huskies, go! Thank you.
Well, it's that time of the evening where we want to start to move towards presenting the class of 2020 and honoring you with the awarding of diplomas. But we have a couple of little things to take care of. First, I have to present you as a class to our superintendent of schools, Mr. B. Lang. So before we do that, I'd like to thank a lot of people that made tonight possible. Dr. Thorpe, Malcom, Isabel, your speeches were spot on and such a great addition to our message and the ceremony tonight. I'd also like to thank the many individuals that worked so hard to make this night a huge success. It's going to be a great night. Those people, Mrs. Dixon, a big shout out to you, Mrs. Main, Mr. Hartleroad, Tech Department, Mr. Bartz, Mr. Riker, many, many more. So a big thank you for all your work to make this happen. And lastly, I'd like to say a thank you to PNP and Grad Bash, and I'd like to welcome our newest Husky, Balto, to our Husky Stadium. So at this time, though, I would like to present the Portage Northern High School class of 2020 to Superintendent Mark Beelang and the Portage Public Schools Board of Education. Superintendent Beelang, I verify that all members of the Portage Northern High School class of 2020 have satisfactorily completed the state of Michigan requirements and specifically the more rigorous standards as set forth for graduation by you and the Portage Public Schools Board of Education. Mr. Beelang, I present to you the class of 2020.
Thank you, Mr. French, and congratulations, class of 2020. It's my honor to stand here and accept you as the 54th class to graduate from Portage Northern High School. It's also my pleasure to welcome family, friends, and staff who join you to celebrate this special day. When your senior year began less than a year ago, No one ever imagined that it would end the way it did, or that graduation would look like this. Our world has changed. We've all had to adopt new behaviors and adapt to living in a world filled with new practices, policies, and procedures. It's not the first time this has happened, and it won't be the last. It's still not certain what permanent changes we will need to live with, but I have confidence in you that you have the strength, the courage, and the resilience not only to survive, but to thrive as you embark on your personal journeys. And with that, it's my honor to officially accept you, the graduating class of 2020 from Portage Northern High School, and present you for the awarding of your diplomas. Congratulations and best wishes.
All right, at this time, we will like to start a movement and shift of students to an area to your right from your vehicles, my left, your right. Students, there are husky paw prints on the ground painted that will keep you 6 feet socially distant. We will be moving towards awarding of diplomas. And so at this time, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have rows 1, 2, and 3 graduates please exit your vehicle and start to head over to this area, stage right, and find yourself on a husky spot, a husky paw print, and we will begin our awarding of diplomas as soon as we get them there. Please enjoy our interlude, Will the Circle Be Unbroken, by song leaders, written by David J. Moore, as we wait for our students to get there. Thank you.
Paige Marie Koningsberg.
Just wait because she can't get on stage.
Bridget May Jones.
Just go to the middle. They're going to take a picture, okay? Can't hug her, so just reel it in.
Amira Neve Branson.
Lauren Annabelle Main.
Ian Thomas Case.
Tyler James Weston.
Austin Patrick Snyder.
Thomas Anthony Wilsey.
Joel Ford Jensen.
Jason Edward Kovac.
Jasmine Marie Johnson.
Samuel Robert Brown.
Blake Robert Sorge.
Gable Mason Sundeman.
McKenna Grace Speller.
Brooke Charlotte Marie Hanson. Mark Ryan.
Jaden Christopher McIntosh.
Mark Ryan McSoley.
Alexander Neil Thompson.
Aiden James Fields.
Mackenzie Ray Polly.
Andrew Joseph Garza.
Simon Gregory Doro.
Maxwell Antonio Barnes.
Alec Walter Thompson.
Yvette Monet Davis.
Graydon Warner Laddick.
Franklin Reese Copeland.
Cody David Chapman.
Elena May Huffnagel.
Cecilia May Chaplow. I do.
Ashley Taylor Huig.
Hannah Rose Koffler.
Zoe Suzanne Zeliff.
Jessica Lee Spray.
Eliza Faye Garcia.
Go ahead. Brianna Rose Newhouser.
Logan Joe Allen.
Andrew Ashley.
Aaliyah Jessica Chambers. Go ahead, Megan.
Jet Edward Thomas.
Megan Grace Wright.
Marin Elizabeth Case.
Alyssa Jane Edson.
Taylor Nicole Cooper.
Madison Lynn Bluebaugh.
Catherine Elizabeth Burlew.
Chan Su Lee.
Jackson Henry Valentine.
Jameer Demetrius Alexander.
James Raymond Powell IV.
Shariah Ashanti Trevier Nichols.
Fahima Ibnat Hossein.
At this point, we could have rows 4, 5, and 6 please come up. Stage right. people coming across. Our next graduate, Melissa Joy McKenzie.
Shay DeMarco Ryder.
Matthew James Kerr.
Joshua Lee DeVries.
Jason Alexander Kapoor Bainbridge. Congratulations.
Maggie Ruth Johnson.
Alexandra Elizabeth Wagner.
Isabella Marie Hoyt.
Adrienne Nicole Plesko.
Logan Joseph Brown.
Jonathan David Slack.
Tanner Nash Bastion. With a long O.
Jason Ryan Craig.
Madeline Marie Lalonde. Trost.
Grace Elizabeth Culp.
Joseph Michael Prost.
Zachary Robert Lewis.
Joseph Liam Erickson.
Christian Alexander Shaman.
Matthew Thomas King.
Ana Luisa De Caro Pinto.
Sarah Corinne Maniscalco. Oh, I know her.
Rawan Al-Sayedi.
Michelle Abigail Callan.
Kylie Kathleen Porter.
Nina Caitlin Lockwood.
Thomas Linwood Leisure.
Isaiah Eli James.
Brennan Alexander Green. Congratulations. Proud of you.
Lena Lee Lukowski. Hortense? Hortense? Last name?
Grayson William Fisher.
Margot Hortense Gendre.
Jessica Lynn Burton.
Lily Diane Case.
Shannon Courtney Abbott.
Mallory Lynn Madison.
Henry Francis Boniface.
Nikhil Naraya Gaud Soma. Hey, dude.
I got it. Julian Dominic Martinez.
Brandon Jacob Jessalunas.
Brianna Alexandra Mendoza.
Eleanor Faye Gilmore.
Jade Maria Thake.
Trinity Lynn Barnick.
Jordan Marie Bolt. Congratulations.
Ayush Mahanti.
Michael Jeffrey Madison.
Nicholas Shi-Ning Lessman.
Preston Taylor Blanzy.
Logan Robert McLean.
Zachary Porter Farley.
Benjamin Gerald John Geyer.
Richard Hudson Uriah.
Brianna Gavro Uriah.
Kristen Marie Amar. And now if we can have rows 7, 8, and 9, please come over stage right and find yourself a Husky spot, please.
We need some light. First of all, we need some light. You can't sit here in the dark and all alone. It's a sorry sight. It's just you and me. We'll live, you'll see.
Night after night, we'd sit and wait for the morning light. But we've waited for too long for all that's wrong to be made right.
Day after day, wishing all our cares away, trying to fight the things we feel, but some hurts never heal. Some ghosts are never gone, but we go on. We still go on, and you'll find some way to survive, and you'll find out you don't have to be happy at all to be happy or alive. Day after day, give me clouds and rain and rain. Give me pain if that's what's real. It's the price we pay to feel.
The price of love is lost, but still we pay. We love anyway.
Our next graduate, Malia Lynn Sinkler.
Amanda Jean Frick.
Trey Benjamin Neal. Karan.
Eleanor Ruth Mancina.
Gabriella Karan Ford.
Haley Elizabeth Jackson.
Abigail Gianna Grace Kelly.
Alana Sue Calhoun.
Logan Thomas Melvin.
Grace Elizabeth McGrath.
Isabel Kathleen Reid.
Hannah Marie Thomas Perez.
Karen Paulina Robles Garcia.
Dominic Joseph Cava.
David Newing Lee.
Leah Marie Bianchetti.
Kelsey Lynn Everett.
Nicholas Weiser.
Hunter Alexander Smith. I can't. On the card. Nicholas, your mom and dad want to hear Nicholas.
Jared Matthew Verberg.
Nicholas John Weaver.
Charles Marsh.
Timothy Carter Wells. Bonus, right? Officially?
Jordan Wesley Bruner.
Ian Michael Bonas.
Molly Lynn Morris.
Micaiah Joy Smith.
Michael James Lonka.
Javion Jacob Marseille Cummins.
Tessa Sky Fuentes.
Kanish Bipin Mada.
Malcolm Thomas Gaynor.
Jonah Allen Pilnick. Okay, last one.
Arjav Patel.
Hung Wok Win.
Claire Vivian Pellick.
Adriana Elise Hernandez.
Callie B. Gabrielle Bowers.
Emmeline Elizabeth Grader.
Courtney Alexis Bias.
Kobe James Mattamore.
Darian David Hinckley.
Justin Richard Hamlin.
Noah Anthony Erdos.
Snigdha Narasetti.
Majikwis Wabanenki.
Jaden Daniel Thurmond Oliver.
Gabriel Alejandro Flota.
Luke David Sykes.
Tyus Vang Shinoiki.
Keegan Michael Thomas Style.
Michael Abraham Hume.
Peter Monroe Todd.
Okay, we are ready for rows 10, 11, and 12 to approach the stage and come on over here, stage right, and find a husky paw print to stand on.
And our next graduate is Aiden J. Hammond.
Gavin William Hebner.
I feel you. Sarah Grace Strahan.
Kennedy Rian Stinnett.
Megan Yen Ching Chow.
Aubrey Lynn Roseboom.
Diego Viramontes Vargas.
Katina Lynn Goff.
Andrew Michael Stevens.
Ethan Gerald Lambrix.
Maxim Richard Todas. Got this.
Rachel Lauren Kelly.
Joshua Michael Cruz.
Tristan Daniel Hummel. Noah Benjamin Ankli. Mitchell Scott Getting.
Britton Jordan Gustafson.
Xavier William Silva.
Caitlin Sue Graby.
Cody Brant Cockerill. Congratulations. Thank you.
Aaliyah Pena.
Andre Walker Jr.
Riley Ann Shoemaker.
Kyriakos Ephemios Peristridis.
Clara, do you want Clara or Clara? Clara. Isabella. Clara Isabel Fernandez.
Taryn Charmaine Eiserman Ross.
Madison Taylor Hockey.
Emma Page Sitterberg.
Maham Shireen Hanum.
Ethan Ryan Searles.
Tyler Javon Amos.
Corey Cunningham.
John Mark Torrance.
Jerome Whitley III.
Kareem Jabril Williams.
Cameron Antone Cunningham. How are you? Congratulations. Graham Everett Holly.
Shane Christopher Lisk.
Graham Everett Holly.
Keith Musa Kaliati.
Taylor Lee Breckrog.
Harbaksh Kaur Bath.
Andrew Jeffrey Scott Reist Crummel.
Muhammad Samar Guslan.
Ayana Jennifer Tucker.
Cole Eric Lambrix.
Alex Walker.
Alexandra Marie Corey.
Madison Michelle Hankey.
Austin Connor Freemeyer.
Stephen Conrad Bowe.
Seth Matthew Page. Cesar? Caesar.
Ali
Cesar,
Ahmad
Caesar.
Farhan.
I'm going to use Cesar. Put it over your nose. Thank you, babe. Cesar Campos.
Jeffrey Allen Wilson. We'd like to invite up the final three rows, 12, 13, or 13, 14, and 15. Right side of the stage, please stand on a husky paw print.
And our next graduate, Julian Carino.
Riley Dane Carlson.
Maya Zenith Sharma.
Nina Tara Sharma.
Christopher Isaac Wallace.
Trevor Jacob Moore.
Titus Nolan Taylor.
Mason Christopher Kayam.
Kayla Marie Meadmore.
Carolyn K. Ernst.
Adam Lucas Rowlson. Make sure I got this.
Nate Paul Mason.
Gannon Robert Andrews.
Nolan James McCarthy.
Parker Robert Bray.
Gregory David Lapatina.
John William Saladicki, Navigation Award.
Mitchell Eric Milks.
Jack Michael Beffel.
Dylan Tyler Butler.
Lauren Madison Miller Grigg.
Hannah Nicole Diggs.
Gracie Ray Polson.
Margaret Maria Brown.
Madeline Jean Wilkie.
Olivia Rachel Green.
Timothy Jacob Schreckengast.
Jasmine Nichelle Horton.
Sophia Xavier Bear.
Jordan Benjamin Funk.
Leo Alexander Kamenek.
Benjamin Charles Eiler.
Kaylin Spencer Conant.
Tanmay Aurora.
Syed Daniel.
Akshay Chalasani.
Alexander Wallace Eldridge.
Kaylin Renee Kyle.
Caleb Michael Diamonditas.
Grayson Mitchell Davison.
Trinity Marie Dalton.
Elizabeth Sharon Bob.
Kendra Jean Dumas. Raghuvanshi.
Audrey Kathleen Bob. Anika Sundari. Anika Sundari.
Sonam Raghuvanshi.
Anika Sundari Golapali. Oh, yeah.
Basma Bilal Hilgazi.
And the final member of the class of 2020, Desmond Marcel Minshall.
All right. Congratulations, class of 2020. You now have your diplomas in hand. Congratulations. But we have an important element to do. So if I could ask all class of 2020, those senior graduates, to please step outside of your vehicle at this time. Since you were freshmen and entered Portage Northern High School, whenever we get together in large groups, we always take and do one thing before we depart, and that is the singing of the fight song. So please join me in a round of the Northern High School fight song before we get moving with tonight's remaining events. Well, we need to turn your tassels as one more significant element to the ceremony today. So, at this time, please remain standing outside of your vehicle. And we would like to complete our commencement ceremony by outwardly signifying the movement from high school student to high school graduate by the turning of the tassel. Students of the Portage Northern High School graduating class of 2020, at this time, please move your tassel from the right side of your mortarboard to the left side of your mortarboard. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Well deserved. Your patience, your persistence, Your care and compassion has been overwhelming for each other and for everyone as we've gone through some tough times. Congratulations, class of 2020. You've earned this. Good luck. And at this time, we will go ahead and start our processional and our serpentine parade as we can exit tonight's ceremony. Everyone, have a great remainder of your summer. Congratulations, class of 2020. Enjoy your serpentine parade and enjoy this last few moments together as a class. Take care. Have a great evening.
Thank you.